समझ नहीं आ रहा अपने सैलरी इंक्रीमेंट का क्या करूं।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स के एसआईपी का टॉप अप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
क्या? समझ में नहीं आया।
बेटा इतना क्या सोच रहा है? अपने म्यूचुअल फंड्स का एसआईपी टॉपअप करा ले। दिस इज द राइट टाइम।
अब समझा।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
In whatever has happened since April 22, that is the Pahalgam massacre, we've seen that developments have moved very, very fast. One thing that has defied explanation so far is the dramatic shift in American attitude towards Pakistan. In India, we may have focused on the larger picture. Are the Americans now rehyphenating us with Pakistan? Nobody is telling you to negotiate again with Pakistan over Kashmir. However, you can see definitely an American warmth with Pakistan. It is the same Trump who in his first term had called Pakistan, who had accused Pakistan of indulging in deceit, a country that couldn't be trusted, a country that was harboring terrorists. But you saw some changes in Trump too's attitude to Pakistan. We saw in February, for example, the lifting of the block on $397 million of aid to Pakistan towards its military program, mostly to help extend the life of its F-16s. That had been blocked in the past. Biden administration had also kept it blocked. That was released. Then in his State of the Union address, Trump thanked Pakistan, praised Pakistan. That made Pakistan very happy. It was probably the only country in a large swath of the world that he mentioned by name. And he thanked them for handing over a terrorist to them who was involved in the bombing that killed a bunch of American soldiers in Kabul around time American forces were withdrawing from there and Taliban were taking over. So that was a very special thank you note. And then we saw after the ceasefire, after Trump boasted several times that he had brokered the ceasefire because he told both India and Pakistan basically that he used trade as an instrument of diplomacy or leverage to bring about this ceasefire. In fact, he also added in one of his tweets that nobody has used trade in diplomacy as well as I have done. That's what he said. He also said in an interview to Fox News, Pakistanis are brilliant people. They make some incredible products. We can trade with them. We can buy these from them. So everybody wondered what these products are. And that has remained a bit of a mystery. That has also confused a lot of the Trump watchers, Washington watchers, Pakistan watchers. Although in the second Trump era, nothing surprises anybody anymore. But something dramatic has happened between Pakistan and Trump. If you want to understand that, you have to keep in mind two things. One is cryptocurrency, which I know nothing about. And second is rare earths or rare minerals, which I might know something about. But the claim that Pakistan has trillions of dollars worth of rare earths, that is not something that's been proven as yet. And the regions of Pakistan which might have these minerals have other issues besides the fact that the Chinese treat those as their own. That said, remember these two factors. There is a third factor to this, and that is lobbying. So what did the Pakistanis do? When Trump 2 came in, Pakistanis saw an opportunity and they figured that Trump is transactional, not necessarily at a big level, at a high level. That's what the Pakistanis understood. So they could not compete with India when it came to big deals between nations, big systems to import from America, also big trade arrangements, big manufacturing of critical products in India, shifting them from China. Those are the large sovereign to sovereign issues. What the Pakistanis focused on was what was personal, albeit small. You can call it tucha, but that is what the Pakistanis focused on. So very early on, and how do we know this? There is a lot to read, and I've read a lot, and frankly, the more I read, the more I confused, and I'm afraid of crypto, and that's the reason I've been diffident. And this episode is also coming to you late. I thought I will talk about something else because I'm just afraid of the word crypto because I don't understand it. I understand real money, but crypto, I don't know. There must be something to it because it is very popular. In early January, Pakistan hired a lobbyist in Washington, and this lobbyist is somebody who was known to be close to Trump's family. So Pakistan was not appealing to Trump at a policy level or sovereign to sovereign level. He is appealing to him at a family personal level. This lobbyist joined in, and then an American billionaire, Gentry Beach, he goes to Pakistan. He's a Texas financier and a Donald Trump Jr. friend. He goes to Pakistan. Probably this is brokered by this new Pakistani lobbyist. He goes and he meets Shehbaz Sharif directly and his entire cabinet. He's a Texas financier. He then also boasts at a Mar-a-Lago dinner that wherever I go, they treat me like President Trump. Obviously, because he knows that many countries know that the approach to Donald Trump has to be personal and through his family. And Donald Trump and Trump family have also redefined how business is done by the ruling family, quote unquote, of America. Now the distinction between what is the family and what is the government is blurring. Although the White House keeps on saying that all of Trump family's businesses are now in trusts, which are controlled by his children, so the president has nothing to do with them. They've also said that the Trump organization, which is basically a real estate organization, will not do any deals in any country while he is president. At the same time, these other companies are now creating other businesses, particularly in cryptocurrency. That's why it's so important. Now, just after Gentry Beach has been to Pakistan and has met Shehbaz Sharif and his cabinet, no less, right? The Pakistanis can really roll out the red carpet. Very often, they can roll out the red carpet to welcome you. And on the way back, every member of the delegation might get a copy of a finely woven tribal carpet. That is what Zia-ul-Haq used to do to many people, including to foreign journalists who came visiting. So Pakistanis are very good at that. Soon after, Gentry Beach's son, that is Gentry Beach Jr., aged just 20, he comes into Pakistan, and who does he meet? He meets the finance minister of Pakistan, Mohammad Aurangzeb, who's a former JP Morgan Chase guy. He's a smart guy. So he meets Mohammad Aurangzeb and sells him the idea of Pakistan getting involved in crypto business. And Pakistan also figures that there is an opportunity. While this is happening, a former finance minister of Pakistan is floating also in Washington, looking for business deals, looking for Trump family business deals, because Pakistanis have diagnosed this right, that the key to the new White House is through Trump family businesses. The rules of the game on conflict of interest have now changed. Gentry Beach Jr., when he came to Pakistan, he came with two representatives of a Dubai sheikh and one Russian tech executive who is the co-founder of something called Islamic Coin. So that's also a crypto business. Also accompanying him was Kelly Whitlock. Kelly Whitlock is chief business officer of a US blockchain firm. Her sister is married to US Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth. In fact, the Wall Street Journal story, and we have to thank Rebecca Bellhouse and Angus Burwich who have done this story. Fine, wonderful story. I will share a link with you. Kelly Whitlock's sister is married to Pete Hegseth. In fact, at Donald Trump's inauguration, she's sitting right behind Pete Hegseth and his wife, who's her sister. So that connection is there. But once again, Department of Defense, US Department of Defense is quoted by the Pentagon as saying, but this has nothing to do with Secretary of Defense's own businesses, etc., etc. This is a private business. She's also accompanied by the CEO of her firm. This is when Pakistan dramatically decides to set up a National Crypto Council. In this National Crypto Council, they appoint as an advisor a man called Jianpeng Zhao. Jianpeng Zhao, if I pronounce his name right, you will see the spelling. He is the founder of Binance, which is the last crypto exchange, which has been caught in much wrongdoing in the US, and where he has pleaded guilty to money laundering, etc. in 2023. He was sentenced, and Even after that, he's barred from doing business. He's looking for a pardon for Trump, and Zhangpeng Zhao was banned from doing business in America. Basically, he was banned from running his exchange in America, Binance, whatever, however you want to pronounce. He's also landed up in the Trump family crypto business indirectly. How that connection works, I will tell you as we go along. It's a bit complex, but after I spent so many hours reading it, maybe it's not so complex. I've got much help from my colleague and our news editor, Janki Dave, in this. I had given up. I said, crypto, I'm not going to do this. And she came to me and she said, this is not about crypto. This is about politics, diplomacy, lobbying, and fixing, which is what the Pakistanis have done quite brilliantly. So what happens? Zhangpeng Zhao is appointed an advisor to this Pakistani National Crypto Council, right, which has just been set up. This in a country where crypto is still illegal. In fact, just yesterday, Pakistani State Bank, their equivalent of Reserve Bank, State Bank of Pakistan, and also the Pakistani Ministry of Finance told their finance ministry's standing committee, National Assembly standing committee, that crypto is illegal in Pakistan. So whatever you're saying right now, you're floating in an illegal environment. Unless the government changes the law and makes crypto legal, it is all illegal. Nevertheless, Pakistan is after something else. So they set up this crypto council where Zhangpeng Zhao becomes an advisor. As that happens, then a young man called Bilal bin Saqib. Bilal bin Saqib is also a bit of a crypto whiz. He is listed among the Forbes 30 under 30. He is appointed an advisor. He's appointed an advisor to a firm called World Liberty Finance Incorporated, WLFI. WLFI is run by Zach Witkoff. Name sounds funny? Zach Witkoff is the son of Steve Witkoff. Steve Witkoff is also a well-known property developer, an old friend and camp follower of Trump's, and now Trump's special envoy to the Middle East and increasingly also to Russia. He's been meeting Putin often, and apparently he's doing it for no salary, no compensation, and flying around in his private plane as well. His son obviously knows this Saqib bin Bilal, who's a kind of a global citizen because he's done much work in Britain. He's been a speaker on the crypto circuit in the US as well. He appoints Saqib bin Bilal as an advisor to his company, that is WLFI. That is, DFI is decentralized finance. Crypto is a very ideological thing. People who do crypto, they say governments, regulators control too much and they discourage innovation. And that's why they use expressions like decentralized finance. So Saqib bin Bilal becomes an advisor there. And as the Wall Street Journal then says, one sentence, and I'm quoting that sentence straight from the Wall Street Journal, Pakistan now had a Trump connection. Pakistan in a jiffy set up the Crypto Council of Pakistan and young Bilal was appointed its head. At age 32, you try to do something like that in India, it will take you months and months and months and reams of file work, and maybe somebody will go to court and there will be objections, etc. How does a 32-year-old head a council like that, an empowered council like that? But that is what the Pakistanis did. They are very fleet-footed with stuff like that. Remember how quickly, how dramatically they had moved with the Chinese, between the Chinese and the Americans in 1971, brokering those secret visits by Henry Kissinger to Beijing to bring about a Chinese-American thaw to counter the Soviet influence at that point. Now what happens? April 26. This is just 4 days after Pahalgam. This is when India and Pakistan are putting restrictions on each other. Pakistan has banned all movement of aircraft from India. There are very few aircraft flying into Pakistan, and many people in India, particularly in the ASEAN community, tracked an aircraft coming in from the Gulf into Pakistan. It comes to Islamabad. At some point, it comes to one of our airfields in Gujarat also, probably to refuel, and it's floating there. It could be the same aircraft because April 26, in a private jet, the leadership group of WLFI leaders led by Zach Witkoff and two co-founders, they land in Islamabad. As they land in Islamabad, they are They are received by young Bilal bin Saqib. Bilal bin Saqib is also not a nobody in Pakistan. His dad-in-law, it's like, janta hai mera baap kaun hai? In this case, janta hai mera sasur kaun hai? Do you know who my father-in-law is? His father-in-law is Lieutenant General Omar Bukhari, who's currently the Corps Commander of Peshawar. He gets audiences with the Army Chief anytime he wants, for himself or for anybody else. He's also been appointed now an advisor to the Pakistani Finance Minister in the rank of a Minister of State. The fact that he is the son-in-law of the Corps Commander in Peshawar, that was first highlighted by Pakistani columnist and strategic scholar who also writes for us, Aisha Siddiqa. So Bilal bin Saqib now became a key figure, and Bilal bin Saqib was now floating with WLF leadership. This leadership in Pakistan was fated. They met key people in Islamabad. After that, they flew to Lahore. There was a ceremonial reception for them in the Lahore fort, which is what is normally done with patakas. You can see those pictures. These have all been posted. These have all been posted on Instagram, and we'll be sharing these with you. There was a big celebration. It was a full Pakistani treatment. And after that, there was a fireside chat in Shalimar Garden where young Witkoff said, this is a junior Witkoff said that your country is sitting on trillions of dollars worth of rare earths. From where did he find those? I don't know. There are lots of Pakistanis who believe that. I believe even the army chief in Pakistan believes that because he's a believer in the scriptures and things. So he thinks that because Pakistan is the new Medina, so just as the original Medina was fated to have great mineral wealth, mostly oil, similarly, this modern Medina is also fated to have great mineral wealth. I'm not sure if there's any more evidence besides this of these trillions of dollars worth of rare earths in Pakistan. But once again, I would like to underline the fact that all the minerals are generally in Pakistan's western frontier areas, which has many claimants on the region, and also the Chinese are there in strength. So are they going to appreciate the Americans now getting a cheap, easy deal there? I think there'll be issues there. But the fact is that Pakistan has used this leverage now to inveigle their way into the Trump White House. And you can see the results of that already. In January, Pakistan hired one lobbyist. In April, they hired another set of very interesting lobbyists at $200,000 a month. So this was a lawyer, and these are all lobbyist filings, because in America, you have to file, particularly if you work as a foreign agent. You can legally work as a foreign agent, but you have to make disclosures. At $200,000 a month, $2 lakh a month, they hired a lawyer plus 2 advisors. These included a former bodyguard of Trump's, man called Keith Schiller. Again, the effort was to get into Trump's family and also Trump's organization lawyer who they hired, George Soros. This also gave them an entry into the household. Now, how regular is this and how legal is this? In America right now, there is a lot of debate because Trump is changing the rules, because he is mixing business with diplomacy, and people he is hiring to do his diplomacy and his political work are also doing his business, and in a lot of that business, his family is involved. Now, you might say, at Shekhar Gupta, you mentioned this company, WLFI. And this Steve Witkoff's son is going around making these deals. But what has it got to do with Donald Trump? The fact is that 60% of this company, WLFI, is owned by the Trump family. 60%. And Zach Witkoff is going around telling the world that when you buy into this, in fact, he has already sold this year, 550 billion worth of stable coins. Now, don't ask me to define it, because I will lose my way out of my syllabus and out of my IQ levels also. But basically, what they've created is they've created USD1 like a cryptocurrency. That is valued at $1, and this is secured with assets. This is secured with assets like government securities of the same value. When it's traded on the exchange, it can acquire more value. So what they're doing is they are enticing various countries to buy into this. And as more buy into this, the value will go up. And more countries are doing it. The company WLFI does not disclose anything. All they say is, once you invest with us, all of you will get a share of the profit. So remember, 60% of that company is owned by the Trump family. So that is the connection. Now you will say that all this is happening in America. There is an opposition in America. There is the House and the Senate. There are investigative organizations. There are other institutions. What are they doing? So first of all, I've told you that American media, we have drawn from this Wall Street Journal story, and once again say thank you, Rebecca Bellhouse and Angus Burbidge. But a lot of the other media has also caught on to it. And the US Senate also is active. So Richard Blumenthal, who is a Democratic senator for Connecticut, he heads a Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations, or PSI, on Homeland Security. This committee has sent requisitions to WLFI for details for their deal documents. WLFI has sent them a legal reply, which is also tweeted by Zach Witkoff, basically saying there is nothing wrong, we are doing nothing wrong. And they are saying, in fact, Ulta Chor Kotwal ko date, like the thief scolding the cough. The company rejects this false choice between innovation and oversight. This is misuse of regulatory authority, and this suppresses lawful innovation. But they have not turned over any documentation on their deals, including with Pakistan, to the Senate Homeland Security Inquiry Committee as yet. So that's a story that's playing out. It will play out. However, within Pakistan, I can see some concern from people, good people, who are saying that, look, this may not be the safest thing to do, because crypto assets is not where you put your reserves, because Pakistan doesn't have so much spare money or a sovereign wealth fund. So there's an article from Khurram Hussain in Dawn, which I'm sharing with you, and also Yusuf Nazar, who's a former Citibank top executive and also author of the book The Gathering Storm. Both of them have held out warnings against getting too besotted with crypto. But you know what's happening is the Pakistanis are not doing it for money. The Pakistanis are not doing it because they love crypto. The Pakistanis are doing it because they don't mind risking a few millions or maybe a few tens of millions of US dollars, maybe $100 million US dollars or more, if in the process they can bring about a geopolitical shift in America's view on this subcontinent. So their critics are now saying that Pakistani generals and the Pakistani establishment are geopolitically so obsessed that they are endangering Pakistan's economy. However, the fact that there is a Trump tilt towards Pakistan, a personal Trump tilt, is also a reality, and it is to be kept in the mind. I know that many of us have been mystified as to how this has happened. These stories, these details tell you how little does it take and how the subcontinent's family network, a general, his son's access accordingly to everybody, all the high and mighty in Pakistan, and similarly a president, his son, his close friend and his special envoy, and his son, a Secretary of Defense, and his sister-in-law, all of this gets together, including a convicted crypto exchange founder, that is Jiangpeng Zhao of Binance. If all of them get together, then this incredible plot can be hatched.